Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I feel like it's a welcome back for me because I literally have not done a video in 2 months. Please forgive me. It has been a stressful, surreal blur moving from the UK to Dubai with the family. If you've watched my previous two videos, then you know so far kind of what the plans were, what the journey was, and that was before we actually left the UK. So before I get into an update for you all, please remember to like and subscribe to this channel so that I know that you are interested in the content, and then I will continue to find the time to make some more. Now let's get into it. One of the first things that happened when we got to Dubai is that we were just super tired and exhausted. We did an overnight flight with the kids, which I thought would be a really good idea. But everyone slept except me. I didn't actually sleep. I was just wired and just thinking about every single angle of the things we had to do, and I didn't give myself a chance to sleep. So it wasn't great. I ended up having to try and keep myself awake to, to not have so much jet lag. But it's really funny how much the jet lag affects you with just a 4 hour difference. Now, first things first, like I had 10 days in between us landing and me starting my new job. And one of the main things on our list was just sorting out the boys' schooling. So those of you that have watched my previous video know that we had a school that we had done all of the bits for, and we were just waiting to sort of meet them when we got here and get everything signed off. Well, that didn't happen. We met them and then it was a no-go. Not because the school wasn't good and not because of our kids, but because it just didn't end up being the right fit. And one of my kids just needs a bit more hand holding and support than the other, and it just wasn't going to be the right environment, and I don't want to split them up. So we decided to keep them together and go and look at some other choices. Now, at the time, what was really weird was loads of schools didn't have a space in year two, and I've got a child in year one and a child in year two. So there were lots of schools that didn't have any spaces for year twos. And so we kind of had to go around the houses a little bit. I was getting a bit stressed out about it, but in the end, we managed to secure a school that we really, really like. It works really well. It's very, very close to my office where I work. So with the school drop-offs in the morning, I drop them off and then come straight into work. So it really helps. So with that school process, I would say just make sure you're here, you do see the school or come and visit or things like that, and make sure that they have the right environment for your children. Now, I had a couple of questions on my previous videos that I want to answer before I continue to sort of recap. One of which was about, is it better to get a hotel apartment or to get an Airbnb? Now, hotel apartments are really good. I've come to Dubai before and stayed in a hotel apartment and in the marina, and I really, really loved it. I think that was Marina Living or something like that. But I really did like that. One part is a hotel and one part is sort of serviced apartment, so to speak, Airbnb sort of vibe. Now, the good thing about hotel apartments is that you can obviously get sort of a really good discount on the restaurants and all the things within the hotel, all the amenities if you want to use them. You get like a resident sort of discount. And so you can like eat at restaurants and do all of that within the same place that you live. You can order from the restaurants and they bring it to your door, kind of like a hotel room service. You can do that. And then Airbnbs, I feel like you just do have your own space, just entirely your own space with a proper kitchen most of the time anyway. And it just does give you a home away from home feel, really. It's not really a hotel feel, it is a home away from home feel. But both of them are expensive. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't feel like one is more expensive than the other. I feel like they're actually both expensive in their own ways. So the pros and cons of each kind of balance out the cost. Like I said at the time, it's roughly about £1,000 a week here when you're renting an average 2-bedroom apartment pretty much in any main accessible area in Dubai. So you're going to be looking at that roughly anyway. There are obviously outliers. You can get some for cheaper, you can get some for more expensive. It all depends on how deep your pockets are ultimately. Another question I got was, how did I find my rental accommodation? Now, we actually found ours through booking.com. So I know that sounds random, but we didn't end up doing it on Airbnb or directly with hotels. We actually got the best deal. We found the best rate on booking.com. We actually looked directly with the hotel to see what the prices would be like. I say hotel, it's not a hotel, it's a service department. We looked directly with them to see what their prices are on their own website, and booking.com was cheaper. So I don't know how that happened, but yeah, it was cheaper. So we went with booking.com, and everything was safe and secure and happy days. So that's where we found it. Now, long-term accommodation. So we got an Airbnb for 6 weeks. And then we were, in the meantime, sort of looking for the long-term accommodation. Now, when it comes to long-term accommodation, you're typically looking about 2 weeks before you physically need to move. The market is really competitive out here, so people are sort of looking and ready to move like now, like as in other people are out looking and will take the property as of tomorrow and sort of blow your offer out the water. So you really don't want a sort of lead time of more than 2 weeks. Things that are coming on will be gone by the time you need them. If you're months out, you do have to secure it sort of on the spot when you're here. So my best piece of advice with that would be, don't even worry about looking at long-term properties when you're still overseas. Like, just get here, go and look around the areas that you like. You will be bound to find something that you're happy with and that works in the locations that you want. Now, people also asked about communities, like family-friendly communities, and there are so many. There are so many. So amongst the villa communities, as they call it, the villa communities, there's so many villa communities. It just depends on where you're trying to commute to. If someone in your family has to commute to a certain place for work, if you've decided on a certain school which is in a particular area, then that will shortlist the villa communities that are around that school. And so on and so forth. Now, within villa communities, there may still be some apartments. It does happen with some of them, like Town Square, for example. Town Square has townhouses, but it also has apartments. And it is a very family-friendly area, and it's, great in terms of amenities and all the rest of it. Really desirable and sought after. But it all just depends on whether that location actually works for like everyone in the family in terms of where you will need to get to. So if you want to know more about which areas are the best areas, let me know, drop me a comment, and I will do like a rundown of, I don't know, maybe my top 5 areas that we were considering and why, if that's of interest to you. Now, another question was how long, well, kind of touched on it before, how long does it take to get long-term rental sorted? Like I said, it takes about 2 weeks between you wanting to move in, looking at places, and then moving in. And the turnaround time is very quick. So once you say, yes, I'm happy with this, and the offer is accepted, you then sign your contract. They really turn it around within 24, 48 hours, honestly. You sign your contract, then you write your checks, because rent is paid in checks in the UAE. So you need to have your bank account in order to have your long-term rental. So it's all a thing. Now, one of the questions that I've been asked is about long-term rentals. Now, before I get into the pros and cons of townhouses versus apartments and all these things that you guys have asked, first things first, in order to get a long-term accommodation in Dubai, you actually need your visa, and then you need your Emirates ID, and then you need your bank account. So you need those 3 things in order to actually be able to proceed with a tenancy. If you don't have those 3 things, you may secure a property, but you physically cannot move in, right? So it doesn't even make any sense to sort of do that. So you need to have your visa first, which obviously you come in on a tourist visa while you get your visa ready. That takes about 10 days on average to get sorted. Then you need like I said, to get your Emirates ID, you need your visa. So you use your visa to get your Emirates ID. That takes another maybe 10 days. And then you use that, your Emirates ID, in order to go and open your bank account. So you can open a local bank account, you can open a, HSBC, that's in quite a few different countries. Take your pick, but you need a bank account because you actually need the checkbook. UK, you need a physical checkbook that comes with your account because rent is paid in checks here in the UAE. So once you have your bank account open, your card has been delivered to you with the checkbook, now you're talking. Now you can go on viewings, make an offer, write the check, secure it there and then. So you are going to need to think about those things before you even start looking at properties. Otherwise, by the time you look at properties, they'll all be gone by the time you're sorting out all of these other bits. Now, when it comes to long-term rentals, the question of townhouses versus apartments is a tricky one. Like, I obviously have a family. I have two boys that are 5 and 7, and there are so many parts of me that just wanted to stay in an apartment for the ease of it, like for the communal sort of gym and the communal concierge and just like not having to think about so many things. But the issue I found here in Dubai is that a lot of the properties are high rise, and I have heart palpitations just thinking about my kids just wandering onto a balcony. I've been on viewings and seen kids on the opposite side on the balcony standing on a chair, and it's just sent me. So I decided that that wasn't for me. I don't have the type of children that allow me to make those decisions. So I just decided, no, we need to be on the ground, feet on the ground, and give them a garden and some space. And that means that it's going to cost us more. But instead of costing us more, I decided to move further out. So we are in an area called Damac Hills 2. And Damac Hills 2 is Dubai South, direction. And so there's lots going on there, lots of people moving there because it's way more affordable. We are in a 3-bedroom villa plus maid's room, with an end unit with a garden and 2 parking spaces, and within a really beautiful community. Walking distance to the mall, water park, swimming pool, park, all of that. So it's a beautiful area, and it's a lot more affordable because it's further out. Now, if you don't want to be further out and you want to be closer in, you can get the exact same things, of course, but they are going to cost you literally double the price. So the average townhouse sort of 3-bedroom villa, which will be a 3-bed, 3-bath, plus the maid's room. The maid's room has their own ensuite as well, sort of set up in town. I say in town, but is like, let's say 200,000 AED, which is about £40,000 a year. Okay, a year. So I guess based on what you're currently paying for your rent or your mortgage right now, that's how much it currently is for that type of setup. However, I feel like you get a lot more for the price. So like we were paying more actually in the UK than we're paying here, but what we were getting for our money was nowhere near the lifestyle that we're getting here. And so it all just depends on weighing that up and seeing what works for you. But townhouses versus apartments, it all depends on the composition of your family. If you're a couple, I would always go like in an apartment because you can be closer in. You don't have to be out in the villas around so many families. If you're just a couple, you probably want to be in the fun, in the town, in all the busyness. And yeah, look, if an apartment works better, the good thing about apartments is that you can sometimes get chiller free, which means that the aircon is included in all the bills that you pay, which is a godsend, especially in the summer when the AC bills go really high. Communities like mine, which is a villa community, also has chiller free, but it's almost like a communal AC sort of thing, so everyone's sort of chipping in for it. So it all depends, and I felt like that was a bit of a rant, but I hope that helped. So quick side note about Emirates ID: if you're going to get your Emirates ID and you're on an employment visa, like if you're here with a job or for a job, the process of that looks like them sending you for a medical exam. So they'll do your blood test when you go for your medical. They'll also do an x-ray. I might put an honorary selfie up here if I can. They do your blood test and do your selfie. You'll do your blood test and do your x-ray. They definitely don't do a selfie for you. So you do that first. Then you need to go and do what they call your tawji, which is basically, it's like an online course, but you have to do it in person. And you kind of have to show that you've kind of understood the labour laws for the UAE. That's part of your Emirates ID process. Then you also have to go and get your biometrics done, your fingerprints. So that is also the last part of that process. And then your card will be issued. So when you get your fingerprints done, they say it will be done within 5 days, but it actually comes like the next day or something. So it's a fairly straightforward process, but you kind of have steps to take within the process. So just so you know, with Emirates ID, my experience is on getting an Emirates ID via my employment visa, and that was the process for me. So on a side note, our shipping still has not arrived. If you've watched my previous video, you know that the shipping was collected like before we left the UK, and because of all the conflict in the Red Sea, it still hasn't arrived yet. So it has been basically trying to not buy things that I know are coming. So like a bed linen, towels, like crockery, like things that we know are coming, but we've had to go and buy. Like we used a Facebook marketplace here in Dubai because there are so many incredible Facebook marketplaces here of luxury pre-loved furniture. Even if it's not luxury, like people seem to have really nice things that they're sort of, some are giving away. We got our washing machine for absolutely free. Siemens washing machine's insane. Sofa and things we paid for. So it just depends on what's going, but you can get things that are other people are selling because they're leaving Dubai, and most people are really sad to be leaving Dubai, but people are selling, and so it's really good things that they bought for themselves to use. So it's not, cheap quality, it's really nice. So we've ended up having to get some of those things because our shipping still hasn't arrived. So I will keep you posted with the arrival of the shipping. And now I don't even know where I'm going to put all the stuff that I shipped. I've lived out of a suitcase for a couple months now, and I'm like, this proves to me that I don't need all of the things I actually have. I don't know why I have so many things. That's a story for another day. So yeah, that's a story for another day. So yeah, with the shipping, that is the current situation. We use PSS removals, like I said, and we did have a bit of a fright because after they picked up all of the shipping and took it back to their, I don't know, warehouses, they hit us with another bill for the weight of it all, which was, yeah, we weren't prepared for that side of it. So just be aware that the price that they give you at the beginning of shipping before they collect the things might change once they actually collect it and apparently weigh it all in their container. I had a question about a UK bank account. What did I do with my UK bank account address? Now, I still have family in the UK, so I actually just moved my address to my sister's. So if you have family in the UK and you can, firstly, I redirected my post. I paid for the Royal Mail redirection just to give me time to sort everything out because I just was not that on the ball to have it all sorted. And then secondly, yeah, you would need to sort of put your name on a bill or something with one of your family members so you can get a proof of address, and then you can change your bank accounts to those addresses. So I hope that that helps. So I'm trying to make sure that my videos are not too long, so I'm going to park this one here. Let me know in the comments any questions you have, any topics that you want me to talk about in particular, maybe the school selection, maybe the area selection of where we chose to live, maybe general what's going on in the property market in Dubai, because I am actually in real estate here in Dubai. Anything you guys want to ask me, I'm happy to help. And like I said originally, I wanted to make these videos because I was really looking online, scouring the internet for videos that would really help me navigate moving with a family, and I just couldn't really find enough detailed information. So although this has been a bit of a all over the place sort of video, I hope it's been helpful, and I'm happy to answer any more questions that you guys have. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.